Kyren's about to get paid. He's about to get paid, and that's going to affect his ADP because at the end of the day, when a player is talked about in news cycles on fantasy shows like this one, your app that you play in your league management app talks about how Kyren's got the bag now, securing the number one spot, when we all know that Kyren's the number one running back. We heard the Blake Corum takeover was going to happen last year. We hear Kyren's going to break down. He's not efficient. McVay's going to move on. And Jarquez Hunter is a must cuff. Maybe the best cuff in football. Top 3 cuff at least. But Kyren is the starter. And Kyren is McVay's guy. And the moment Kyren gets his bag, I do expect him to climb because he'll be in the news. I believe people they'll just say, man, all the kind of reservations I had about him, that contract means they're committed. And so it's going to have an effect. We've got Shedeur Sanders news. A lot of Shedeur haters are out. Just like when JK signed, everybody came out of the woodwork. Oh, I told you, all the Harvey haters. Told you Harvey's horrible. All the Shedeur Sanders haters are just all over the place because he went 101 miles per hour. Wasn't drinking, wasn't doing anything crazy, went 101 miles per hour. Raise your hand if you've never driven 100 miles per hour on the freeway. Just want to know. So we'll talk about Shedeur Henderson. There's some weird news about Henderson that popped up on CBS that I think could potentially cause some fear, strike some fear in the upset Ungers, the careful Calebs, and the worried Williams and the petrified Peters that might help us drop Henderson's value a little bit. We're going to talk about all of this and more. The phone lines will be open. The Fantasy Football Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. That show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So here we are talking about Kyren yet again. We talked about Kyren so many times this offseason because we love Kyren. We understand what Kyren is. We respect Kyren. We know that Kyren can be a top five running back every single year that he's healthy and in the lineup. And there's just a handful of haters, so much so that his ADP is 3.5 roughly, which is ridiculous considering he's a top 5 potential running back. I do think that this contract that he's about to get, I'm mixed on it. I want it and I don't want it. I don't want it because it raises his value. And I love that the haters are clinging to something ludicrous, like, hey, Kyren might get replaced. His late draft capital, he's injury prone. It's nonstop negativity. And I don't really want those people to be on Kyren because we're getting him at 3.5. But at the same time, I'm such a big believer in Kyren. I'm such a Kyren supporter. I want him to get his credit. I want to see people go, oh, okay, I'll take him in round 2 now. But even that is going to be league winning. Kyren in non-best ball goes in the second round if you want to get him. You got to get him sometimes in the mid to late second round. In best ball, he goes in the third round. Goes at 3.5, 3.4. And that's in a heavy wide receiver saturated environment, though, where everybody's consuming wide receiver at such a crazy rate that you're borrowing round 3 wide receivers and pulling them into 2. You're taking a couple of the second round wide receivers and pulling them up into 1. And you just have this borrow effect that nudges the other positions downward, hence why best ball has a little stranger ADP when it comes to wide receivers. But Kyren is going to climb in best ball probably to the top of 3 if he does get his contract. And according to McVay, and I haven't read the news yet, Rams coach Sean McVay said that the team has made progress on a contract extension for Kyren Williams. This is not the first time we've heard it. They've been talking about it all offseason. There's no way they're kicking this idea around, and they're just not really serious about inking the deal. So the Rams are very much in line to get this done. I would be more shocked about this not getting done than really any other contract this entire offseason. Why? Because he's earned it. Why else? Because Kyren's not going to sit on not making money when he gets fed so many carries He knows the risk when he goes to work every day. And if he walks into the 2025 season without a contract, and he's going to accept a little bit lower amount if they're holding back and forth on it, because he doesn't want to, this is his only opportunity, really. I mean, he could definitely get a contract next year, but he has to stay healthy. Everything has to go great. So this is his time to shine. This is his one true no-risk opportunity. It's right in front of him. He doesn't have to stay healthy and hold his breath, go through the entire year. This is his one opportunity to get a bag, a big bag. And it'll be a big enough bag for him that he's going to take it. Now, let's say he doesn't. Let's say he's playing hardball. The Rams are playing hardball, and they just say, look, it didn't happen. We're closing the door. We'll address it next offseason. That the negotiation time is done. Similar to how the Bengals treated the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins contract extension last offseason. There's still some good in the contract not getting done because he'll be playing for money. He'll be in a contract year. Contract year players tend to go berserk if they can stay healthy. But I'd rather him get paid, to be truly honest with you. I don't mind overpaying a little bit in best ball. Let's say he climbs from 3.6 to 3.3, 3.2. I'm fine with it. I'm taking him at the 2-3 turn a lot anyway. If I'm on the clock at 24-25 and I've got the 1 overall pick, I take Jamar Chase. I take Kyren as that top of round 3 guy all the time. Not sure it'd affect me all that much, to be honest. There'd be some drafts where I wouldn't get him, where I'd normally see him fall to about 3.5. But there are other players I love that I need some diversification anyway. I think we all need to practice some diversification in fantasy football, because if we draft too many of the same player over and over, we don't get to take advantage and relish in the rises of other players that we do like, maybe a smaller amount less, but then the injury strikes the player that we liked a little bit more, and then our entire fantasy season is wiped out. So truly believe that, thank you, Pretty Richie, appreciate you. I truly believe that Kyren's value is about to go up. In non-best ball, I think it's already in the bottom of 2, but it could climb to the middle of round 2, or at least make it cement into round 2 if there's any sort of fluctuation across different non-best ball leagues. Pretty Richie said, my man Smitty, how you have grown this industry, Congratulations, Smitty. You are the fantasy guru. Thank you. Appreciate you, Pretty Richie. Kyren, expect the value to climb, and deservedly so. So thank you, Kyren, for all you do. Kyren Williams, let's play the clip for good old time's sake. The man that has a lightning bolt. We call him, you could call him Harry Kyren or Kyren Potter. Whichever one tickles your fancy better. Harry Kyren or Kyren Potter. Either way, he's the only guy I know that has a lightning bolt on his nose other than Harry Potter. Let's give it to the man. Standing ovation. Let's cook Kyren 2025.
Let him cook.
Harry Kyren Potter, you are the man, the myth, the legend, the man we call, what is it, 7 feet or 8 feet tall? Let's hit the video real quickly for the man we call Potter.
He's Kyren, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyren.
I forget if he's 7 or 8 feet tall, but Kyren, we salute you, young man. Next up on the list is a piece of news that is kind of shocking today. Not that shocking, but it's not what we expected to see today. At least I didn't. I expected to see it later on in the year, but Travis Kelce on his future. I got 1 year on this contract. I know that. We'll try and figure out something for next year. The Chiefs organization knows how much I love them. I can't see myself ever playing anywhere else. That is the first time we've heard this offseason that Kelce's not doing one more season and he's done. I think trimming down about 20 lbs. This also could signify troubled waters in the relationship front with Taylor Swift. Just telling you, your boy got a psych degree for a reason. And when somebody focuses on themselves, really hardcore, you know something might be brewing. I'm just letting you know, okay? I didn't get a psych degree for nothing. But Travis Kelce is working on himself in a massive way. And I think his job importance might be being pitted up against his woman's job importance. And it probably makes him, when he really thinks about it, feel this is just your boy shrinking this thing. I'm going to be a shrink here for a second. This is your boy trying to tackle this in a way to explain it. I think Kelce's probably saying, if I retire, you know, I got to do the podcast thing, which I think he would do, and he'd probably do pretty well, and he'd probably make good money doing it. But I think he's looking at Swift and he's saying, you know, what am I going to be doing? You know, I got to do something that makes me feel like I'm at least in her league still. And so that might be why he's contemplating this, or it's troubled waters. But for him to be dropping 20 LBs, what's the first thing you do when you break up with your girl or your significant other? You get in shape. You get in the best shape of your life. So I don't know. I'm just telling you, it seems kind of fishy that he's dropped 20, 25 LBs, and he's also talking about his new contract. We'll have to monitor the situation, but this is good news for those that have Kelce in Dynasty, because he could linger in the top 8 to 10. It's kind of like Mark Andrews. You draft him, you hope he gets some touchdowns. And he was tight end number 5 last year on a very down year. And I believe the Chiefs are coming for everybody. Mahomes is going to be insane this season. This news right here, Shedeur Sanders. There are going to be people that take this one way and people that take this another way, and then people that kind of are in between. I'm definitely in between. I'd be hypocritical if I didn't say, you know, keep your head on straight while you're trying to earn this job. But at the same time, he was going 101 miles per hour. No one probably on the road at that time at 12:24 a.m. Not saying it's smart. Not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying he drag racing's okay. I don't think he was drag racing. I think he was literally on the road going 101 miles per hour with not a person in sight. And if you haven't gone, and I imagine maybe it's not on the freeway, but I imagine it was on the freeway. If it wasn't on the freeway and it was in a school zone, we might have a different conversation. Okay, so I don't even know where he's driving. If someone knows the details and isn't making it up, let me know. But if he's on the freeway and no one's around and he's not drinking, this is not Ruggs. Stop trying to compare him to Ruggs. He's driving probably on an open road, I imagine, going 101 miles per hour. Who here hasn't hit 90 miles per hour? I don't even say you have to be clocked at 101 like him. Let's just call it 90, 91 miles an hour. Who hasn't gone 90 miles an hour this month? I know I've been on the freeway and I look down and I'm like, whoa, sonny boy, we're about 92 miles an hour. We better slow down. I'm just like, come on. You're really you're pulling at straws. You're trying to find anything you can to tear this man down. I'm really excited that everybody is so hateful toward Shedeur, because it's going to make it so much sweeter to watch him succeed. I see some of the stupidest posts out there from these so-called wannabe news aggregate Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts. We're a news source. Why? Because I grew my page to 100K in grandma's basement, eating Hot Pockets and charging my Game Boy. Ma, is the meatloaf ready? And somehow stumbled onto 100K, which honestly, 100K Instagram followers, Twitter followers, congrats to you. Seriously, that is awesome for sure. But they're like, holy shit, I can now pretend to be whoever I want. And that's the problem. And everybody's like, should he be cut? Should he be cut? I don't know. What are we talking about here? Okay? If he was drinking, drag racing, if he was in a school zone, we'll have a different conversation. As far as I can tell, and I don't have the information right in front of me, I would say, I was not 90 miles an hour the other day, allegedly, for my officer friends out there. Allegedly. Could have been just my eyes were bugging out on me. I don't know. I looked down and I said, whoa, is that a 9.2? That might be a 9.2. We might need to back up off the gas pedal a little bit. We're on the open freeway, cruising down the street in my 6'4". Okay, whatever. Think what you want about Shedeur. Think he's going to get cut from this. Don't really care. Don't really have time for your shenanigans anyway. We got to get on to bigger and better things. That not that Shedeur is not awesome, but I mean the news is not important. Trey Henderson as we call him. He doesn't want to be called Trevion. He wants to be called Trey Henderson. Do it right. Do it live. Trey Henderson. This report here is confusing. First of all, The Athletic does a really good job of having people everywhere, and then when they speak, people just regurgitate it, and we don't even know. I don't even know anything about some of these writers half the time. But this Athletic writer, Chad Graff, reports that it's still unknown whether Trey Henderson can be a true bell cow back instead of just a good third down back. The thing that is funny about this is if you continue to read his report, if you dig into it just a little bit, not just go over the surface level information, he says that Trey Henderson's been by far not the best running back, the best offensive player in camp. So I don't really know what we're talking about here, because he's literally saying, I don't know if he can do, but he can do that, but he might not be able to do, but he's that. I don't know what we're talking about here, Chad. What are we doing, Chad? Chad says, still unknown, but he's by far the best offensive player in all of camp. This is not going to be that difficult. Let me explain it to you. We heard some chatter about Gibbs. Could Gibbs hold up? Might Gibbs not be the full-time running back? Might Gibbs only be a change of pace back? I don't know if little Gibbsy can do it, little Gibbsy Poo. Can he truck along and be a full-time RB at the NFL level? He might break. He's kind of brittle. I don't know if Gibbs can do it, if he can hang. Let me tell you something. As Jim Carrey would say, let me tell you something. This man, Trey Henderson, doesn't need to be a between-the-tackle, absolute, straight-up monster getting 300 carries a game. This is Breece Hall and Jahmyr Gibbs type of stuff we're talking about here. This is a runner that needs somebody to take some of the work, the 1 and 2 and 3 yards per carry type of carries, the up-the-gut grunt work that we don't want Hendy getting anyway. We want Hendy averaging over 5 yards per carry. How does he do that? Pop runs to the outside. Nice little sweeps. Things that this guy can get to the edge and do what he does. I'm not saying he won't be good up the gut. I'm not saying he can't have 5, 6, 7 carries up the middle, especially if, let's say, the passing game starts to really move along and they can move the football down the field and surprise a lot of people in New England. Then there's going to be more room for him to navigate. But I do want Stevenson to get a bulk of the crap work, the gutter work, in the gutters, in the grit, inside the middle of the offensive line, in those gaps where it's literally just no room to get anything at all. It's 1 and 2 and 3 yard per carry type stuff. I don't want Hendy near that at all. I want Hendy getting 12 to 14 really quality carries and about 4 to 6 receptions a game. If anybody thinks that he can't do that in what Chad is trying to describe, even if Chad's right, and they don't know if he'll just be a really good, like in his mindset, third down back, in his third down back role that they're trying to claim he's going to get, he's still getting 10 to 12, 14 carries. He'll do damage with that. I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to work itself out. And I hope that this report gets clung onto. I hope people keep, floating it to the surface. And I hope there's a lot of people that give their opinion like Chad did. And it gets picked up by NBC Sports. This is an NBC Sports report in reference to the Athletics report from Chad, who was eating a Subway sandwich while he was watching this, spilled on his shirt while Hendy popped off a 40-yard run and he missed it. That's what Chad's doing. Chad, if you're watching, I appreciate you. Take advantage. Hendy's already it feels like falling. It's weird because there's moments where you go high and there's moments where you go low. And on Underdog ADP, and I had somebody reference the other day, saying, hey, Smitty, can you talk more non-best ball? The truth is I talk non-best ball pretty much the entire 8 p.m. show. So for an hour and a half to 3 hours or 4 hours, we do 4-hour shows sometimes during the season on the 8 p.m. show. There's always going to be non-best ball talk. But what I do reference a lot is best ball ADP because it's even better and more accurate than non-best ball mock draft data for non-best ball players. Why? Because mock draft data is computer drafting on top of computer drafting with people that aren't taking it seriously, and they leave the draft in the 5th round and it still counts the draft. And so you got a lot of bad data getting piled on bad data, not to mention the pre-ranked lists are garbage anyway, and that negotiates and guides where people are going to potentially make picks. And so then you got bad bad actual mock draft data, on top of all the good drafters. No offense if you're still mock drafting or if your state can't do underdog, but all the elite drafters are not doing mock drafts anymore. So it's kind of like if you took all the players that are really good out of the NFL and then say, yeah, the NFL is where it's at. Not anymore. They're all over here. They all left. So if no one's there mock drafting that has any sort of sense, and it's just people kind of in there, and it's a ghost town. And even if there are a lot of people in the ghost town, they're all ghosts. They don't draft for money. So they're mock drafting. They're toying around. They're playing around. And so you want to go, even if it's best ball data is a little different from the wide receiver perspective, I still trust best ball data with the thinking of, okay, let's remember that wide receivers are going a little high in the first, second, and third rounds. Then it normalizes, and round 5 is kind of the same. It all kind of returns to normal as the shift happens and running backs start getting taken in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. So it's pretty even. It's pretty good from round 5 on. But in rounds 1 through 4, you just kind of know wide receivers probably fall a little more. But it's people paying hard-earned money to draft. There's no leaving the draft in round 5. There's no trolling and messing around with the mock draft data. It's literally you're paying $3, $5, $10, $25 to draft, and that data gets compiled. And so if I go to the underdog data, the reason I'm even telling this story is I want to find out where Trey Henderson is being ranked right now, because his value continues to fall, or it fluctuates enough to where he's a steal. I'm looking at it right now. 2025 ADP data for RBs. Trey Henderson is at 64.8, which is running back 21. Running back 21, 64.8, which means that Trey Henderson, when you look at a board, 64 is right smack at the, looks like the beginning to middle of round 6. Round 6. You're telling me that I can get myself a Hendy now on the regular. Is that correct? 64 is in the middle of round 6. Let me go back and just look at the rankings one more time. Am I reading that right? Because that seems crazy in the middle of round 6 for Trey Henderson. That might be weekly. Is that weekly win? No, I'm going off of 2025 season rankings. Trey Henderson 64.8. You're telling me that Hendy cost me a 6.3 to 6.7 ADP. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that might be the biggest steal in fantasy football 2025, period, outside of maybe Mahomes in 7-8. Mahomes was going 6-7. Now Mahomes is 7-8. You're telling me I can get Hendy at 6.3 to 6.7. Hold the phone. Where's Harvey going? Right above him, about 58, 60. Harvey's still going ahead of him, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because Harvey's been hit with that J.K. Dobbins news that I don't care about, but other people do, and he's still going ahead of him, but he's creeping up. Harvey's now at 58 to 59. I venture to say Trey's going to pass him, and Harvey will be about 64, 65. So Harvey and Hendy are probably the 2 biggest steals in all of fantasy football right now, aside from Mahomes at 7 to 8 value. Now, I could go pick apart the ADP. We'll do an ADP show, and on my YouTube page, I pride myself on, when you go to my YouTube channel, it's organized. And on my YouTube homepage, I have rows, playlists of different topics. One is rookies, another is ADP shows, and soon you'll see start bench advice on there, waiver wire, buy low, sell high, players like that, topics like that, all organized on my YouTube homepage. So if you're looking for content, specific content, you don't have to go try and search anywhere else. You just go to my YouTube page and scroll through. Panic Chamber will be on there. Again, waiver wire, start bench, all that will be on there during the season or leading into the season. Get ready for it. Be ready for it. This is the only channel you need. This is the only space you need to be. And if you want more one-on-one type advice, the only other thing you could possibly need other than the fantasyfootballshow.com membership, for those that don't know what the fantasyfootballshow.com membership is, it's what I've been doing for 25, I don't know how many years now. The trade calculator. I got into the business The thing that urged me to get in was there was no trade calculator that I could find in the industry. So I said, I'll do it myself. And I created the trade rankings galore, bowl predictions. But other than this, the only other thing you need than the channel itself, the Fantasy Football Show YouTube channel, is maybe this $10 per month cancel anytime Patreon, where we're all sitting together during games talking about every play practically. Like, you don't even want to read it live. You almost want to be like 10, 15 seconds behind, because you'll be sitting there typing and someone goes, Bijan touchdown, H-man touchdown, H-man 7-yard run. It got called back. And so we're all sitting in this live chat room. Do it live. Link is dropped in the live chat. I'll pin the link right now. This is the Patreon. It is literally the best community in the world. And what is it? It's basically our YouTube community over there on the Patreon. So I'll pin that right now. But anyway, on the Patreon, we're talking about this stuff all the time. And Hendy, Harvey, Mahomes, we'll be dropping a lot of special nuggets inside the Patreon. So expect that. Get ready for that. Where's my... There it is. Other pieces of news before we open the phone line. There's not a whole lot more to go over. I think it's just this other thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh, yeah, Efton Chisholm. Nice little prospect in Dynasty. It's not hyperbole to say that no player did more to improve his standing with the Patriots depth chart than Efton Chisholm. Chad, you just said no player was more impressive on offense than Henderson. So, Chad, you're giving off mixed signals, but I do agree with this one as well. That, you know, Chad is right on that one, at least. That Chisholm's a nice little grab and stash in Dynasty, but no one should be drafting him in that. But damn, he's confusing that. Best offensive weapon we've seen is Chisholm. Best offensive weapon we've seen is Hendy. He worded it a little different, granted, but it sounds like Chad's a little pessimistic on the Hendy side. But yet he said he's the best weapon in camp. So I don't know, Chad, you tell me. Phone lines are open. Let's discuss Kyren, Hendy, Shedeur. Any other topics you might have, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, dial in. We'll take some phone calls. Do it live. We'll be back tonight to draft as well, so get ready for that. We'll be drafting to see where Kyren goes. Might be one of the topics tonight. I imagine we'll have another topic emerge tonight that will be the topic of the hour, but certainly believe that Kyren will be a topic tonight as to where he goes in a draft. Where is Hendy going in a draft? Where's Harvey going in a draft? I'll tell you what, I drafted one of the best teams I've ever assembled on Underdog. This team is crazy. It's filthy is what it is. I feel almost bad. I think they're maybe going to cancel the draft, to be honest with you, because they're going to look at this thing and say, what are you doing? Are you in cahoots with someone? Because this squad is just unreal. You can't draft this kind of thing. Where'd you get this team, Smitty? Mahomes, Genty, Kyren, Harvey, Henderson, BT, Travis Hunter, Emeka Egbuka, Schnauzer 2. I wish it was the Best Bowl Mania, but it's not. But that's okay, because that is a one fine-looking team right there. Mahomes, Genty, Kyren, Harvey, Hendy, BT, Hunter, Egbuka. What are we doing back there? Kelce will probably be next. Maybe Bo Nix. I don't know. Little Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm not sure if we'll have time. What are we doing? Look at this squad. Imagine once I add Kelce and Bo Nix to this squad. Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, I always take things with a grain of salt when people throw around the bell cow word, because people define bell cow in so many different ways now, where a lot of people look at it and say, oh, he's got to get 20 carries a game. But like we've talked about before, guys like Hendy or Gibbs or someone like that, and you even said it, 12 to 15 carries and then 5 to 8 targets. So they're going to touch the ball, 15 to 20 times in a game. But it's not just pounding up the middle.
Yeah, it's all about touches, not carries for me. With RBs anymore, it's all about touches. Touches are worth more than carries. Pretty Richie, I know you're joking. This is at a 10 or a 12-man league. Usually what we say when someone's 12-man league looks insane. As you know, that's a best ball draft on underdog, so they're only 12. Well, I guess you could join a small 10-man or 8-man league, but no, that's a 12-man Schnauzer 2, baby. That's a good old Schnauzer draft. But yeah, I can't believe this squad. This squad's insane. This squad is just, I don't even know how it's gonna end. But BT, Hunter. I mean, I might get T-Law in the mix. We'll see. But I'll get Kelce for sure at the next pick. I don't even know how many picks away I am on this one, but this team is crazy. Travis, what are you thinking ADP wise for Hendy? Do you think that, and I don't know how widespread this is one guy from The Athletic that the NBC News Sports team put up on their blurb. But to be honest with you, NBC Sports, Roto World hasn't been the same really over the years. So I don't even know how many people consume that news anyway. And I don't really see a lot of people replicating what gets posted there all over like X or anything. So I don't even know if that one NBC report's going to be widespread at all. Like, that's one guy from The Athletic. I don't think anybody's picking up on it. So I don't know that Hendy's going to lose value. But do you think that his ADP of, what do we say? Hendy was around 64. So Hendy is at 6.3 to 6.7 ADP. Do you think that it stays there for a while? I don't know why it wouldn't, unless some sort of like video surfaces where Hendy rips off some sort of scrimmage, 45-yard touchdown runs, shows some wiggle. I don't think even hey, Hendy look, because he said in the report, Hendy looks the most impressive offensive player in camp, but he might not be the full-time guy. Like, I don't know that anything verbal is going to move him.
Yeah, I think another big thing, and I see it in the chat quite a bit. I think someone said it tonight, and almost any time Hendy gets brought up, people bring up Ramondre. Oh, Ramondre got paid a lot of money, or Ramondre's signed. He's going to get plenty of carries. So, they kind of wishy-washy on how much Hendy will get the ball. And, I mean, we know that's not true because there's plenty of carries to go around. We talk about it every single night with every single backfield people talk about.
Yeah.
Teams run the ball 400, 500 times, on the heavy side. And so, Ramondre can easily get 150, 200 carries, no problem, especially with a back like Hendy, who isn't going to be demanding 18, 20, 21, 22 touches a game, carries a game.
Yeah,
I think the Ramondre thing might keep him in that same ADP range and keep him from jumping up.
Yeah. I don't know. I gotta find another eraser. I might have to order some more. This eraser's falling apart here. I think I think he stays in the 6th round. I think the most he climbs, so I think it's more like 6.4 probably. 6.4. I bet you at the most he climbs to like the 5-6 turns, so 6.1.
Yeah.
So I think that the only thing that can move it can fluctuate to 6.1 naturally. And that could happen through ways of another RB losing value, like as Harvey starts slowly falling because of the J.K. Dobbins concern. You could see them switch real quick, and then I could see Hendy go 6.1 and Harvey go 6.5. So that could happen. But I think the stop measure will be 6.1 until there's a physical piece of evidence that's a breakout, running play. Bijan, his rookie year, was catching multiple one-handed touchdowns. Catching, not running. That's why we were so excited about his rookie year. He was catching one-handed touchdowns, and not one or two of them, like multiple. And so stuff like that can definitely change things. Or if Drake May went to a podium and they asked him a question about Henderson, he said, I think he could be the best back in the league. Like something like that could certainly change the ADP waters. But I think until something significant happens, we have one of the biggest steals for. It's an open ticket. I don't know how long we'll get this open ticket for, but it's an open ticket to go in, walk into a draft, and get Hendy as your 6th drafted player. It's the reason that I was able to draft this team right here. There's no way I should be able to have Hendy at pick 62. I took Harvey at 59. I took Hendy at 62. I took Kyren at 35. I took Genty at 11. Took Mahomes at 83. I took BT at 14. I took Travis Hunter at 38. His ADP was 44. Look at where I'm taking these guys. I took Hunter early at 38. His ADP is 44. I took Ibuka at 86. His ADP is 92. I took BT one less than one spot below his ADP, after his ADP, which is good. Trey Henderson, I took at 62. His ADP is 64.9. Harvey, I took at 59. His ADP's right at 59. Kyren, I took at 35. Got him 2 picks value. That was great. Asher Genty got 1 pick of value. Mahomes, I got a little bit early. I didn't even reach that much, but it's crazy, man. This is just an insane team. I should only have one of these 2 running backs. That's the advantage that I think we all have in this community, drafting on Underdog or outside of Underdog or drafting anywhere right now, is that we're going to get this for a little while. I don't know how long. That's why you should get on over to Underdog tonight while we're drafting. Here's the link is in the live chat. The link is being dropped in the live chat right now. I'm going to pin said link right now, and the link is in the description of every video. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. But I'm telling you right now, this whole notion of waiting until August and you know who's risen up the depth chart and who's been hurt, that's not the advantage of waiting and drafting later. Do some of that for sure. You know, you want to draft throughout the entire year to account for things like that. You know new information now. You're more excited about Jaden Blue maybe, and so you want to draft him now and you weren't drafting him earlier. There's pros and cons to drafting throughout the entirety of the offseason, all the different phases of the offseason. But if someone thinks they shouldn't draft right now because they're afraid of an injury, that is crazy, because the advantages far outweigh the risk. The advantage of getting a Harvey and a Hendy now is an open ticket that's soon going to be closed. There's no way you're getting Harvey and Hendy in late September when Best Ball Mania is about to close, or late August when Best Ball Mania is, gearing up to close. You're not getting Harvey and Hendy on a team that also has Kyren, Genty, Mahomes, BT, and Hunter. You're not getting that. It's not happening. So take advantage now while you still can. All right, go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, there's really just as good a chance the guy gets injured week 1 as he does at camp, So don't be afraid of injury.
Yeah. And not to mention, people in your draft could get injuries, and then you advance to the first round because of those injuries. Like, there's different ways to look at it. Let me hit these super chats real quick. Jaime with a super chat says, I never drive 100 plus miles an hour, but that's because my truck is electrically limited at 99 miles per hour. So you go 99. That's fair. My QB in Dynasty Superflex are Stroud, Penix, and A-Rod, Will Howard. Should I make a trade? There's so much depends on the other pieces of your team. And, like, would I rather you go get Bo Nix or Mahomes? Absolutely, bro. Could you do it using a first-rounder? Then I would for sure take Stroud, turn him into a better quarterback. Penix Jr. I love, but I would turn Stroud into Nix or Mahomes if I could, or higher if possible. I'm not a big Stroud guy. I reserve the right to still judge him later after he plays out the year, but I'm not consuming a lot of Stroud right now. And I'll be happy to say I was wrong and jump on the train. I don't even think I'll jump on a train. I think I'll just be like, okay, I guess he's pretty good. I'm still not going to draft him over this guy. 7, 8 guys are still going to always be priority for me over Stroud, no matter what. Stroud's already, I just don't see it. I don't feel it anymore. I feel a very, very weird vibe with Stroud right now. But yeah, definitely. But a lot of context is needed for me to fully help you. So you can call in or drop another super chat with some examples, maybe, what your first rounders look like. Superflex Dynasty Startup traded 2.12 and 6.10 and a 26 and 27 first rounder, 27 seconds for the 1.2, the 8.2, and the 26 second. Now I have Josh Allen and JD5 in a Superflex Dynasty winner or lose on that. She traded both first rounders and a 2.12, which is probably going to be, I mean, that could be a really good player. That's like, Bucky. It's probably not Gibbs or Bijan, but it could certainly be BT, or something like that, I guess, in the second round, late second round in a Superflex. So let's just call it BT just for some sort of significant, piece to hold on to and value this. So multiple first rounders in 26 and 27 with a BT and a 6th rounder, but you get an 8th rounder back. So just for simplicity, let's throw the 6 and 8 out. So you're essentially getting, with this, you're getting Josh Allen or JD5 for 2 future first rounders and a BT type player. I mean,
I'm assuming he had the 1.1.
Yeah,
right?
I assume he did have the 1.1. That's a lot, though. But that being said, those first rounders, given that you didn't surrender a second, right? So you still have the 25 and 26 overall picks. He traded the 2.12. Sorry, he has the 20. He has the 25 overall. So he has JD5 and Josh Allen and let's say Bucky or a BT, or something like that. That's a pretty damn good start. And honestly, your picks are probably going to be low picks. So I'm not too concerned about the first rounders. It's a lot to give up. Your team can fall apart. You never know. But I think you're probably giving up, given, this is...
He really only gave up the 26 and 27 first and the 2.12. If you cancel out the 6th and the 8th rounder, you just throw those out. And the 2 second rounders, throw those out.
Yeah, so it's not a bad move at the end of the day. It's not a bad move. I think you definitely gave up a lot in the picks, but those picks could be literally the 1.10 and the 1.12. And so at the end of the day, it's a good move. In a Superflex Dynasty, you've got the 2 best quarterbacks. It's going to be, and it's not like you're missing much at all. You just moved your 2nd rounder up into the 2 overall pick. So the only thing you're missing are future picks. If you had given up your 3rd, your 4th, and your 6th rounder in this draft, that's where I think people make a mistake, because then they're struggling. They're on the struggle bus while they've got this dominant double QB situation, but they can't win, and then their picks are worth a lot because they lose. So you did good at the end of the day, but you gave up a lot. But at the end of the day, you're going to be fine. The first rounders you won't feel for for 1 year and then 2 years. So you just keep winning, you'll be fine. Got Hendy in round 6 in both redraft leagues. Let's go, says Zach. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's like taking candy from a baby right now. And Harvey's going in the same territory. Should I send an offer Stroud for Bo Nix straight up? Well, Alex, considering I just told you that I give up a first rounder to drop that, I would definitely take that. If you're asking me, and I didn't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying. So yeah, my answer is yeah. Try it. My fear, though, sometimes is that if you lowball somebody, get them in the business of saying no, then they're probably gonna say no to the next thing. So maybe you offer a couple 2nd rounders or at least a 2nd, but just make sure, the problem is if they don't like Stroud as much and you get them to say no, and then you try to add something, they may just be you've already given them a lot of time to think about it, and then they might change their mind. Just like when you're thinking about buying something and you give your stuff too much time in the store and you put it back. It's kind of like the same concept. Honestly, though, Stroud probably has kind of similar value to Bo Nix to some people, so I don't know. I guess I do 2 2nd rounders because that's kind of a lot to give somebody. 2 2nd rounders and Stroud for Bo Nix. See if they pull the trigger on that. All right, hang tight real quickly, Travis. Let me go to this caller and then I'll go back right over to you. 925. What's your name and where are you calling from?
What's going on, Smitty? It's Crizzy. I'm calling from LA, and I just had a quick trade question for you.
Hit me with it. Appreciate you.
All right. So, of course, yeah. So I have Kyren, Blake Corum, and Jarquez, and I was wondering if I should accept. I got proposed 2 trade offers. So for Kyren and Corum, I was proposed Jaden Reed and Breece Hall, or I was proposed Corum and Kyren for Hendy and Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay. I don't know if I go the Breece Hall route because they're both similar players and you've got your situation cuffed up and the Breece Hall situation isn't cuffed up. So I think they're really close. But Hendy is an intriguing proposition. I'd probably take Hendy over Kyren because you're resetting the odometer. He's probably going to be able to produce the same amount of value, I think, right away, if not within 1 year. I'd rather have Hendy. I think that's a really good trade. Hendy's exciting. He could be Jahmyr Gibbs 2.0.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Smitty.
Yeah. Let me see what Travis agrees or disagrees on that.
Okay.
Hey, go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Does he? So he has Kyren to be getting Hendy. Does Kyren demand any more, or because Hendy's so much like a rookie, his value is going to be higher?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, do you ask for more? Can you get away with?
Try to get more since he's not super high right now. Because he values him high because he took him at the 104, but that's why I was just getting those 2 instead of Jaden Reed and Breece.
Yeah, that might be hard to get it done. And again, you might send him in the no direction where he's like no, and then you up it no.
Right. You know.
So I don't know. So he offered this. He offered this to you. This is it out there?
Yeah, he offered me both of those trades. Both of them.
Okay, so he definitely wants Kyren. So maybe I would.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe I'm like Travis said. Maybe I'm saying, tell him you're close on it, but you definitely need something significant because honestly, you could even show him the report on NBC right now that says that they don't know if he's Chad. Show him Chad's report.
I was gonna say if I wait until he gets paid, do you think his value would be a little bit even more secure? Like if I give it a day or two, Kyren signs a massive deal, I could get Hendy, Ramondre, and like a pick or something like that.
You could, but what if Hendy goes up in value? Real quickly, I put it on screen here at 47 minutes and 25 seconds. Screenshot it and then crop it. Okay, it's on screen right there for you.
Okay.
Screenshot it and crop it and send him this and just go. I kind of like the idea, but then I just saw this, bro. Like. I don't know. Maybe maybe you move your first rounder down to my second. Don't say you want a first rounder. Tell me you want to move it down. See if that wording
move it down.
Yeah, and then take his first rounder next year for your second. Say I'll even give you another second. And then it's like, and then he feels like he's just moving down. I would try and wiggle a little more out of him. If he sent you 2 offers, he clearly wants Kyren. And you tell him, and then you tell him Kyren might sign an extension, and that just shows how much they love him. And then he's going to be like, he's onto it. He's onto it. The cat's out of the bag. I got to do it live.
That's true.
All right, later, bro. Appreciate you.
True. All right, thank you. Bye.
Hey, mute yourself real quick, caller. Before I'll come right back over to you in a second. That's an easy, I think, decision to ask for more if he's coming after him. If you were sending the offer out and he's wavering, or you're talking about it and you send him more, then they could get into the no business. But yeah, I think you definitely could get away with more. Anything else from you real quick, Travis, on that before I jump to this new caller here? Nap, what's up?
No, just I see Sick Nasty had a super chat too.
Sick Nasty with the super, appreciate it, my buddy boy. Would you entertain trading MHJ for a top 5 pick in the? I mean, top 5 pick is vague. Is it 1.1? Yes. Is it 1.2? I think I would rather have the 1.2 right now over MHJ. The 1.3 starts to feel pretty even. But it depends on my running back situation. But top 5, like a vague, like if you're thinking it'll be top 5, but you don't know where, like this is a future pick, not an actual 1.1, 1.2 of this draft, then I don't even know what's in that draft next. I mean, we know, but I don't know how I feel about it till the season plays out. So I'm not going to go get an ambiguous potential top 5 pick for MHJ. Absolutely not. But would I take the 1.1 in this draft? You bet your bottom dollar I'd give up MHJ in a first rounder. Would I give up MHJ for the 1.2 straight up? And it's this draft? Probably. And then it starts getting a little hazy at 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. I mean, I like these guys about as much still, but it does depend on a lot. What do my wide receivers look like?
Depends on who you have.
Et cetera, et cetera. All right, Nap, you're live.
Yo, Smitty.
What's up?
Hey. One thing I never heard you talk about with Shedeur is the time when he walked off the field. It was like 2 minutes left, and it was losing.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I mean,
Think
look,
about players walking off the field.
look, I think that you got to judge this player, I think, right now. And someone could say, well, he went at 101 miles per hour. Well, he's fast. He likes to go fast, okay? He's not like he was drinking. The road wasn't like Rashee Rice where he's drag racing, weaving out between families. And I still draft Rashee Rice like crazy. So I clearly can be objective about that situation and tell you how I feel about Rice and what he did. You know, Kamara as well. We drafted the hell out of Kamara the last 2 years. And even though we can't stand what he did. But look, Sanders, I look at Sanders as Sanders pre-draft and Sanders post-draft. And everything Sanders has done from draft day when he was humiliated and set in his place to a degree. And I believe that he lived in his dad's shadow, but you can't blame that on anybody but Shedeur. But he didn't know any better. If anybody's had a polarizing figure in their life, you know, if you've never been able to get out of it, you don't know how to live outside of it until you finally, you know, move on and get out on your own. And like I told you, if I was an NFL team, I would have been, if I was a decision maker and a scout for an NFL team, I would have brought everybody into a boardroom and said, look, we have to look at this thing from a psychological perspective. Can this kid change? Is he blinking twice saying help when you're taking him out of this environment where his dad's got his thumb on him? And like Travis said, I'm not trying to say Deion didn't raise great kids. He did. He's not an abusive father or anything. I didn't mean it like that necessarily, but he has been casting this shadow and controlling the situation, because you can't blame him in some respects because he's such a polarizing figure. He's protecting his sons and his cubs, putting them behind him, teaching them how to get crazy and make sure that they can handle the spotlight that's on those kids because of Deion. He had to make them tough. He had to make them arrogant to survive what he did. I'm not saying for right or wrong, but I would have sat down and said, guys, this kid, if we get him away from his father, which we will, his father's not in the building. You can't, what is he going to force himself in? Once you get him away, he's going to mature and grow. And that's exactly what he's done. So I don't even care what he's done in college. I don't care what he said to teams. I don't care if he threw an interview. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is since he was drafted, aside from driving 101 miles per hour, and like I said, if we find out it was a school zone, you know, but it's I'm not saying it's okay to do that in the school zone at 12, but I mean, I don't think he was driving through a school zone at 12 a.m. anyway. But it's like, aside from that, he has done nothing but take what's been handed to him in stride. And I love everything I'm hearing about him, everything I see. All the players are just bonding with him, and he's doing it the right way. He's earning the respect of everybody, and only the haters are just waiting for something like this, you know, 101 mile per hour situation so they can come out and say what they've been saying all along. Anybody that likes Shedeur or is hopeful about Shedeur or was indifferent isn't coming out and saying, oh, 101 mile per hour ticket that he can just pay. There's going to be no fine or suspension or anything like that. It was a ticket. It wasn't a criminal arrest. It was a ticket that he got that he can pay. Nothing's going to happen. If people think that that defines who he is or where he's headed, I told you, you were saying these things anyway. It's like if you liked Harvey, you didn't come out and say JK season after you've been saying Harvey season. The people saying JK season have been hating on Harvey every step of the way. This is the easiest thing to see coming. I'm not worried about any, to answer your question, long-winded. I'm not worried about anything that happened in the past. Because what's it matter? Look at what he's doing now, bro. Look what he's doing now.
You want 110 in a 50 mile per hour zone.
What do you want me to say? Have I ever gone 90 in a 50? I'm just saying. Have I ever gone 90 in a 50? Yes. Are you going to stop watching my show?
I've never been an NFL quarterback, though, so it doesn't sort of fly under the radar.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to you think I'm going to not draft him or root for him because he went 101 miles per hour and got a ticket and nothing happened. Hold on, let me merge Gump. Gump wants to get in. I'm just saying it sounds to me like you already were not a big fan, though, because there's no way
I ain't gonna lie. I was a fan. I was a fan until he walked off the field with.
Okay.
And they were losing in Nebraska 28-10, and he walked off the field with a couple minutes left. Once he did that, I knew right then, like, it's some character concerns.
Well,
you know it's still a character concern.
I don't feel those.
You can just sweep under the rug.
I don't feel those right now. He had a lot of growing to do. He also had his dad coaching him, bro. I don't know. Did your dad ever coach
like that? His dad's like that black stuff off of Stranger Things that gets into people and turns them into bad people. Like,
well, all I'm saying, bro, is that look, you can judge him for what he did in the past, especially playing for his father. You know, there's a whole lot of other emotions involved. Like, son, you need to do this, and you're pissed off at your dad and you walk off. I'm not saying it's right, but there's a lot more dynamic at play between father and son and walking off a field and all that than you probably think. It's a lot harder, especially if your dad is Deion Sanders. So I'm not judging him for anything that's happened in the past. I'm judging for what I see right now. You know how much he's grown? Imagine when you were 20, 21, like the amount of growing you do so many dumb things. You say so many dumb things. You know, you got to be able to look at a kid and say, okay, is he going to mature? Yeah, of course he is. So, you know, it sounds to me like we're already against him.
That's on the automatic.
Okay, well, that's going to be a take that you have, and this is a take I have. I'm very willing to overlook this, especially when you consider the cost of entry at every level of this conversation. From a fantasy perspective, no one's even drafting him. From an NFL perspective, he wasn't drafted until the very end of the draft. Like, where's the risk at all, bro? Where's any negative part about this situation as it relates to Shedeur Sanders' rise up in Cleveland? Where?
Yes,
there's nothing.
On a dynasty perspective, you know, if he's a freaking dumbass and getting suspended, doing, you know.
Okay, well, guess what? He's free.
I
just picked him up off waivers. You're clearly against him, Knapp. You clearly are already set up against him. This 101 mile per hour thing only gave you a license to come out and speak more loudly about what you've already been saying. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Anybody that hates Harvey. Yeah, anybody who hates Harvey, they waited quietly, and they've been waiting for J.K. Dobbins to show up, and now they're like, yeah.
Now that's a whole other situation. I'm not scared of J.K. at all. I'm still grabbing RJ 5th, 6th round, whatever.
There's zero risk with Shedeur. All right, now appreciate you, bro. Later.
Yep.
It is what it is.
I find it funny. Like Addison did the same thing before training camp. Jalen Carter was drag racing and another car died. He still went in the first round and no one said a peep. You know, so it's like, I get it. It's stupid for Shedeur to be doing anything.
Yeah,
that could get someone to point at him and say, look, we told you so, because he's got a target on his back. But really, when you put things in perspective, okay, it was a kid that was speeding. Let's see if he learns from it.
Yeah. By the way, 50 mile per hour, you know, means, if that's what the mile per hour zone was, means that's either like one of those roads that's literally got medians and it's, you know, miles and miles of medians and stuff in between, or that sounds like it probably isn't the highway, but it could. I don't know where it was, but it's not a school zone. It's not in between traffic lights. It sounds like this was like one of those situations where he opened it up, and he shouldn't have. I'm not saying that that's right. Could Could you get someone injured or worse? Absolutely. And I don't go 100 miles per hour on the normal streets, even in that type of situation. But have I gone fast before, really fast before, where I shouldn't have? Absolutely. But he's also a young kid, and he's going to make mistakes. And it's weird that that's making people say he's going to be a bad quarterback because he went fast in a car and got a ticket. You know, like that's wild to me. Let me go over to Gump. Gump, you're live.
Well, I don't know if all you people ever drove a BMW. I used to have a BMW, and them things are made for the autobahns. And I'd have to say that I was going faster than 70 miles an hour. I was probably doing. Huh?
You do, Gump.
Yeah, I was probably doing more than 70.
You'd probably go 100, 140, delivering all that cereal in the back of the tractor trailer.
No, the BMW, you could drive a BMW 170 and not even. It
All right.
even,
What else you got, Gump? Let's change topics. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's stupid conversation, to be honest.
I know it's all stupid.
All right, hit me with something else.
Okay, I had a question for Krug and you. And you know what it was?
No,
It
Gump.
was.
How would I know what it is, Gump?
Well, when was the last time that an NFL team had the number one receiver and the number one running back in the NFL?
For fantasy,
No. Play, the offensive player of the year, running back, and
I don't know if you're trying
Wide
to say.
receiver.
If you're trying to say last year, Gibbs and St. Brown. St. Brown wasn't. It was Jamar Chase.
no, I was saying when was the last time it happened? I mean,
I don't know. Marshall Falk and
For Kruger.
maybe Marshall Falk and
that's Kruger.
it doesn't matter. Let's talk about something else. I don't want to talk about your Lions. I'm not talking about Gump. Change the topic. I'm not playing your Lion games today.
All right.
God, every day it's just like, when's the
Okay,
last
okay,
time
okay.
Goff took a dump?
We don't want to care about
Okay,
that. But anyway,
what else, Gump?
Baker does really good this year. Are you going to get his jersey?
Baker
Mayfield.
Baker is very underrated, even by me. Every year, Baker.
Really?
Baker's a baller. I love watching
You're
Baker
a
play.
fan? We're both Baker
I mean,
fans?
I'm not. I can't claim to be Baker's number one fan, but I enjoy watching him play football, and I'm really excited about what he can do with Ibuka. And Ibuka looks fantastic. The rapport, they look like they're two peas and carrots,
Oh, man.
as the other Forrest would say, as the real Gump would say. Peas and carrots. All right. Anything else, Gump? Got anything else?
Well, he's a fun person to watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like his commercials too?
Yes, Gump.
Okay.
All right, here, Gump. Think of a more complex question. All right, hold on a second. Put yourself on mute. Let me add this caller over. Now I forget. Is this Big T?
yeah, it is.
Okay. I think I finally memorized your number, but I don't. I still don't have you in my system. But go ahead, Big T. You're live.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a Trey question real quick.
Right.
I just had a discussion with my friend at Top Golf. So the trade is me giving up Jalen Hurts, Marvin Harrison, Rashad Bateman, and a 2026 second. And I'm asking back for Bo Nix, A-Chain, a 2026 first,
Come on,
and a
bro.
2027 first.
You're wasting my marker.
It's a lot. I know it's a lot. Sorry, I should have pressed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one could argue they like MHJ, more in a dynasty. I suppose someone could make that argument, but I'd take some Knicks, HN, and a first rounder for Hurts, MHJ, and a second. Is that basically it? Who cares about Bateman? Is that it? 3 for 3, essentially.
I was asking back for he was willing to give up a 2027 first as well.
I thought that's what you said.
a 2026 first and a 2027 first, 2 firsts.
Are you going to do it?
I mean, the thing is my team is competing right now. Like, I mean, with Jalen Hurts, like, the reason I was thinking about this trade is because of the discussion we had earlier, or like you had like last week about Bo Nix being just as good as Jalen Hurts probably in Dynasty at some point.
I believe he is. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Yeah.
You don't have to watch.
So that's the thought process of why I am okay with going down to Knicks.
Are you okay with it? Because you haven't accepted it yet. you say you're okay with it, but you kind of aren't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just MHJ, man. I feel like he's gonna, like, he is top 3 wide receiver upside, man. The thing is that 2027 first, his team is not great. His best quarterback after this would be Jalen Hurts, but before it was like Sam Darnold or whatever.
So what are the odds that this is Jeremiah Smith?
That's the thing. I mean,
who are your wide receivers?
I don't know what you're waiting on.
No.
Just because I only have 5 running backs and I have like 9 or 10 wide receivers. I have Bijan and that's pretty much it as running backs. I mean, I have Pacheco
if you're set at wide receiver, you can move MHJ. Don't worry about that. If you're truly set.
Bro, not to mention, and I'm not saying if this is going to be Jeremiah Smith, you trade this pick, but I'm just giving you context here. If you were to then move this for Travis Hunter, let's say, or a wide receiver, you could easily, if you got cold feet, trade both the first rounders. I traded 2 first rounders, but one was potentially an early 2026 first. The other was a probably mid to late 2026 first. It wasn't a 27, and it wasn't likely the number 1. But I traded 2 first rounders for Hunter. So in a worst case scenario, I kind of think you could end up with Knicks, Achane, and Hunter over Hurts and MHJ. But I don't even know why. Yeah, I mean, I'm not giving this much thought. I'm literally just smashing.
Right, yeah. All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Go rewatch my Knicks video. I don't need to go over it again. But
I saw it.
Knicks is, and I'm not saying the tush push gets eliminated next year, but you answer this question: is the commissioner corrupt? Like, does he act a little bit like a dictator? The answer is yes. I'll answer it for you. Did he want the tush push gone personally? He said he didn't, but did he?
We hate the tush push.
Okay, Gump, I'm not talking to you. So the answer is yes. He wanted to get rid of the tush push. He got outmaneuvered, and I don't think that's going to happen again. He's got a whole year to prepare, and I think it's going to get eliminated. Now, if it doesn't, I still believe Knicks gets close enough in rushing production to Jalen Hurts, who will slowly start to break down a little bit, because the tush push is not something that is that easy on his body. He's constantly banged up. Sirianni lies about it, hides it. He's always injured. He's always got knee problems. And he's always got ribs and different shoulder injuries. He's getting banged up. Over time, his 14, 15 tush push touchdowns, which the league will start to slowly figure out ways to make it a little bit less effective each year. It'll start to creep down to about 10, 11, scores. Bo Nix can get you 6 touchdowns right now. Bo Nix got 460 something yards rushing. I believe Hurts was he around 7? So they're not that far apart. The difference in rushing production between Hurts and Nix in future years is going to be nowhere near the difference of Nix's passing production that will double Jalen Hurts' passing production. He'll double him in passing touchdowns. He'll double him in passing yards. Jalen Hurts is not a good throwing quarterback, a great throwing quarterback. He's a good thrower. Not great, he's good. Nix can be superior.
Okay. Yeah.
And not to mention, and I don't know if you watched the whole show, but where did Bo Nix finish last year in QB scoring in fantasy football as a rookie without weapons? Where did he finish? Did you watch that part?
Ahead of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. He finished as QB, was it QB 6 or 7?
I think he was 5 or 6 maybe, and Hurts was 7. I know they were 1 off, something like that.
I think Hurts was
Yeah, Nick was ahead of him.
Hurts was not 8 or 7. Hurts was
Was he 6? And
no,
Nick was 5 maybe.
No. He was 9 or something. Hold on, let me pull it up. Leaders from 2024. Hurts was QB number 9. So Hurts was QB 9. Bo Nix was QB 7. 6 depending on the score.
Oh, gotcha.
6.
Gotcha. Yeah, my score's a little different, but yeah.
Yeah, so 6 to 7. So Nix is already outscored him, and on top of that, I know Hurts missed like 2 games or whatever it was.
What?
But
Right.
Bo Nix was a rookie. Like, you can't tell me 2 games and being a rookie aren't a wash at a minimum. And on top of that, he got handed Evan Ingram, who's a slot wide receiver. He got handed Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. He got handed Pat Bryant, who I love. Improved offensive line, improved defense. This is going to be a remarkable jump year for a guy that already finished as a rookie as QB 6/7, depending on your scoring. When I call him a top 5 QB and people go ballistic, really? He was a rookie with no weapons and he was QB 6 or 7. How am I saying anything crazy? People are out of their minds. Yeah. He outscored Hurts last year as a rookie. People are out of their minds.
It's only going to get better with him. That's true.
All right, bro. Later.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Smitty.
Yeah. Gump, final thoughts, Gump. Did you think of anything?
I got something.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got a couple of questions that maybe you might think that they're off or something, but I'm gonna wing it. One question is, would you ever do a show like during the summer it's kind of slow and everything, like 32 shows where you pretend that you're a fan of that team, 32 to every team, and you
finish him. Call terminated.
I don't have time for that today. Travis, what else you got? You gotta be kidding me.
Just a comment on the trade that with the TD or Big T that I see a lot of times people hesitant to make a deal when there's a guy like an MHJ or someone that has a ton of talent and you think he was about to break out or is really good, even though they have huge depth at the position. And it's like you got to give to get. And so don't let really good trades fall apart because you overvalue your own players or have trouble letting them go. I see too many trades fall apart for that reason, even when people have depth.
Yeah. I don't know. I love the Knicks hate. And that's why Knicks, for people who don't know, we added them to the Marsmen, I think.
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
No.
Mars men.
Maybe Saturn?
The Saturn men.
Saturn.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Yeah, Knicks. He's going to explode. We might even need a Knicks emoji. Anything else? We'll be back tonight, by the way. 193 of you in here. Please punch that thumb up button. We've got only 72 thumbs up. Not horrible, but would appreciate the subscribe if you're new. You found your new home. We're live every day, probably 2 or 3 times a day. Nobody does news like this channel. Nobody does fantasy like this channel. No one takes phone calls or breaks down stuff in bold fashion like this channel. No one has the characters on this channel that we have. No one has BBQ but this channel, and BBQ drops a who will be HHH his first client. Probably Gump. Gump's gonna be their first client. Gump, you got 10 seconds. I don't have time for your. This isn't a Mickey Mouse show, bro. This isn't. Hey, Smitty, you ever thought about doing a show and turning your show into a circus that no one takes seriously anymore, and pretend you're a fan of every team and do 32 Who's gonna watch that garbage, Gump? Nobody. Hi, I'm Lions Lonnie, and I'm here to like the Lions today. Let me talk about the Lions. I'm a Lions fan. Who's gonna watch that Mickey Mouse garbage?
Gump will.
So what you're saying?
You'll have one.
So what you're saying on Thanksgiving, you don't root for the Lions?
Gump, you got 10 seconds to do your worst. Go ahead.
Oh.
Huh?
I don't have time for this. 10 seconds, Gump.
Well, there was another thing. There was one more question I want to ask you. If Hendon Hooker becomes really, really good, like during the season, would somebody trade away a number one for him? What's the possibilities of Hendon Hooker being like really?
Can I ask you a question, Gump? I'm not trying to.
I mean, you said you were a fan of Hendon Hooker.
Gump, can you listen to me? Gump, listen to me. Gump, listen to me.
Finally healthy.
Gump, listen to what I'm saying. I don't mean this.
Right.
I'm not trying to walk you through this like a baby, but I know the choice. If Hendon Hooker's playing well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That means that Goff's injured, or Goff got benched, right?
No.
What do you mean though? How could he play well? How could he play well enough to get traded when he's on the field, Gump?
Well, he's going to be on the field a lot during preseason.
So what? Everyone's going to trade for him based on the preseason play?
You said yourself you like Hendon Hooker.
Gump.
You said yourself you were a fan of Hendon Hooker.
Number two, if let's say your scenario plays out and Hendon Hooker's in the lineup playing well, you're not going to trade him because obviously Goff failed. And if Hooker's playing well, you're not going to trade him. There's no scenario where Hendon Hooker goes out and lights up the preseason and then they get rid of him. He's playing so well, he gets himself trade value, and they're going to send him packing. I don't think so. No.
You don't think so? So we're safe with keeping Hendon Hooker.
You're safe, Gump. You can sleep like a baby tonight. Hendon Hooker is safe.
Are you going to root for the Lions on Thanksgiving?
Okay.
Huh?
Finish him. Call terminated.
All right, Travis, any final thoughts? Thank you, BBQ.
No, I think I'm good. Gump covered it.
Yeah, Gump covered
all the bases.
He got all the breaking news and urgent stuff got spat out on the Gump call. All right, thanks, Travis. I'll see you tonight. Hopefully, we'll be live at midnight Eastern. Later.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
I've never heard somebody speak about a team as much as Gump speaks about the Lions. I don't even know what to say at this point. All I know is that BBQ's dropping $50 haulers like they're candy.
$50. Give me $50 holler. Get by the brother, Smitty.
BBQ said, canceled all my subscriptions and signed up for the lifetime membership. This show is truly unique in every way. Thank you, BBQ. You help make it unique. And if anybody has a gifted membership over the past couple months, has either come from, Andy's been dropping some too lately, but it's come from either BBQ or New Age Outlaw. And a few of you others that have been amazing dropping those. But thank you so much. BBQ is a household name around these parts. Kind of wonder if he's related to Perps. He wasn't here when Perps was here, but BBQ and Perps they feel like they're twin brothers. You would have loved Perps, BBQ. Maybe you were here when he was here. I don't know, but Perps hasn't been around lately. Thank you, moderators. Yep, that's right, Caps. Thank you, mods. Appreciate you. I'll see you all tonight at midnight Eastern. Please hit that thumb up button on the way out the door. Subscribe if you're new. HHH and Associates are here to assist you.
Reese Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall.
Associates. Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA select start.
Warning. Cheat code activated.
Yeah, BBQ, email me. I'll get you on the Patreon. You deserve it. See you all later. Thank you, Sick Nasty, Blackbeard, Travis, Space Ricky, DeBolt, Vampy, Penny Powers, Terry Roberts if he's out there somewhere, and Double A. I never say Double A, but he's never really here. But Double A. Appreciate all my mods. Go Kyren. Go Hendy. Go Shedeur.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.